the next topic that we will be moving to will be based on understanding what is what if analysis. What if analysis is again a very interesting topic to talk about. So in this particular topic, we will be seeing how the tools work in terms of what if analysis, what is what if analysis, and what are the tools available for performing what if analysis. So we have goal-seek scenario manager. We will explore these tools, and finally we will do a small activity based on data table, and we will see what is the utilization of such table. So let's move on to the data analysis part. What if analysis, we say. This particular analysis is actually used for reducing data speculation. So instead of thinking what will happen, you can actually see the results directly on screen. So this is the benefit. So let's move on to our Excel sheet. So we can take any sheet for this matter. So this particular section does not require any data set. We can simply move on to another sheet. So let's say I'm just taking one sheet, and here we will do some what if analysis. So let's understand this in terms of some calculations. Let's say think of a situation where you are calculating the EMI of a particular loan. Let's say you're taking it as loan for 10,000, and here you are taking the rate. So the rate is actually, let's say if you say 6%, 6% per year means it will be 0.05% per month, and period, let's say I'm taking it as 48 months, and here what we can do, we can actually calculate the EMI line. So EMI will be, there's a function called PMT which we can use for doing this particular calculation. So we say it asks for rate, this is the rate. It asks for period, this is the period. It asks for principal value, this is the principal value, and the future value is actually 0. You press enter, so you can see that it gives us a value 553. This is a negative value, that's why it is coming as red and bracket. We can go to format cells, right click and go to format cells, and you can remove the symbol if you want, and you can see that it comes like this. Now we can reduce some speculations out here. What we can do, we can actually go to a tool called, so from data menu we can go to the what if analysis, and there is a tool called goal-seek. So goal-seek actually takes 3 parameters. It asks, okay, now let's take a scenario that I wanted to check that if I take a loan of, let's say, 20,000 instead of 10,000, then what will happen? What will be the effect in my EMI? So that thing can be directly checked from this particular option. So you can say goal-seek, and then you can actually view the formula here. So you can say set the cell to value. Let's say you wanted to see if I am capable of paying 1,000 rupees minus 1,000 rupees as my EMI, then what will be the effect in our loan amount? So I simply say okay, it calculates. The moment it calculates here, so it says that if you change the current value, so this is, if you say okay, just a moment, because this is a, so let's put it like this so that I can see the value properly here. We go to what if analysis, we say goal-seek, change the value to, let's say instead of 500 we say 1,000, and by changing the value we say I want to change this value. The moment I say OK, see what happens. Automatically it converts your loan amount. So it says that instead of 500, if you can pay 1000, then what will happen? You can take a higher loan of around 18,000. If you want to keep this value, you can say OK. However, if you don't want to keep this value, you can say cancel. So this is one scenario. Similarly, you can see that if I want to cover the same loan in 2 years instead of 4 years, so what to do? I can again go to what if analysis, say goal 6, and here I want to say that I want to change the value to minus by changing this particular cell. So I want to see the effect based on the tenuity of the loan, so not the loan amount. So definitely, if my EMI increases, my tenuity will be decreasing. So I can see that here you can cover this particular loan of 10,000 within 14 months if you are capable of paying double the EMI. So this particular what if analysis or like data analysis can be done using goal-seek. So if you want to keep or you can cancel. Now similar to goal-seek, there is another option called scenario manager. Scenario manager is just like goal-seek. Only difference is that it can store all these scenes, like all these scenarios. So we had talked about two scenarios. So these two scenarios or similar kind of scenario can be stored in scenario manager. So right now there are no scenarios. I say I want to add a scenario. Now I can just say it is as scene 1, let's say. Now it says by changing cell, which cell you want to change. So this particular cell should not be a formula based cell. So I want to say that, okay, fine, I want to change the loan amount. Okay, so it says, okay, so I have clicked on this loan amount and then it is asking that how much you want this amount to be. I say instead of 10,000, I want to make it as 20,000. So this is one scenario that we have seen. Let's say I want to check another scenario. Scenario name, let's say I'm putting it as scene 2. Now this time my changing cell should be period because rate of interest is anyway dependent on market. I cannot do anything else. I say that scene 2 will be based on this particular tenuity. I say okay. I say okay, fine. Instead of 4 years, how much number or how many months you want to put? I say 24. Now two scenes I have added and I say okay, scene 1 and scene 2, both the scenes are available. So in case, so scenario manager, what it can do, it can capture all these scenes and whatever speculations you have done. And the best part of scenario manager is that you can actually create a summary. So after creating the scene, if you just go to summary, it asks for the result cells, like which is the cell which is responsible for the calculation part. So this is my calculation and both the scenarios I have incorporated. Now simply if I say okay, see what happens. It creates a new sheet which gives me the scenario in detail. You can see current value, we can see the scene 1 details and the scene 2 details. In scene 1, see automatically it highlights. Then in scene 1, we have kept the tenuity as same and we have changed the amount. So we have doubled the amount. So we can see that this EMI has also doubled. Here what we have done, we have kept the amount same. We have reduced the tenuity to half and we can see that this particular amount has also come down. So at any point of time you can add as many scenarios as you want and then you can do the analysis directly. So you need not be dependent on any particular option over here. Apart from this scenario manager, you also have something called a data table. A data table is very useful. Let's take an example that you are, whenever you go for a personal loan or for car loan, or even if you go for some LIC policy or some life insurance policy, something like that, they show you one table. So they don't calculate in front of you. They have a table, ready-made table. The moment you ask any kind of things, they will be able to give you the result. So let's try to create similar kind of result over here. So what I will do, I want to create a table over here. So this table will be using this formula, same formula. So here it is. And then what I will do, I want to see a table based on different periods. Let's say I started from, let's say, 6 months, then 1 year, something like this. And then what I can do, I can simply keep on copying it like this. Let's say till 4 years. So let's do some formatting stuff. And here I would like to see it from 5,000, then 10,000, and the gap of 5,000. We just wanted to 5,000, 10,000. Let's say 50,000. A small data table we will be making here. So what we will do, take the table like this. Your corner edge, the top left corner should have a formula which is there coming from a particular reference. Now what you have to do in this particular formula, we have to incorporate the concept of data table. We will select the entire table structure, and finally what we will do, we will simply go to data, what if analysis, and say data table. Data table simply takes two parameters, row input and column input. So here understand this row is this part, this period, and column is the amount. So in row, what we can do, we can say that this is my cell which is defining the row, and column I can simply say this is the cell which is defining my columns. So these are the columns. The moment I say OK, you see that it populates the data table. Now this is actually in negative, because if you have taken any loan from bank, then definitely this amount has to be in negative values, because you have to return it to bank, something like this. So like this you can create, you can see cross check also that for 48 months, this is the value, 48 months. I will check, see 48 months, it is actually matching. 48 months, 10,000, this is the amount. So something like this. So we can create a table with simple calculations. So at any point of time, if I want to refer, let's say if I take a loan of 50,000 for 4 years, then how much EMI I have to pay? This is 2,765 rupees 92 paise. So it's a very simple kind of analysis what we have seen here, is to reduce speculation.